So we got a little rain last night, a little more than 1/10 of an inch, and now the moisture's in place and the low clouds are running, and we're just seeing all these flights. No sooner I walk out this morning, and I'm hearing them overhead, so they're up here watching. And sometimes they're trailing. You can see it come on and off, but they're still way too low to be commercial traffic. Way too low. So I'm just coming out to the road for the first time this morning. There he is. So he looks like a UPS flight. Well, what a UPS flight would look like. So we've got our mountains kind of shrouded in clouds. Kind of beautiful. With some snow. Fresh snow up top. We'll take the water, that's for sure. And then a bit of a... There it is. Bit of a mountain wave cloud or lenticular. Taking shape. Some other the waves up here. Some are running this way, some are running this way. And then the cumulus coming off the valley floor. Should be wet. The rest of the storm is not that far away, so we should be in rains before we get to early afternoon. Here's to water. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. Some snow up top is stuck around through the morning. Had a little bit of sunshine today. Still, I hear some thunder. Swing around. And there's our rain. I'd still rather not see all of this without definition. All without definition. That concerns me. And in time-lapse, what we see huge bunches of energy, just big, like a curtain being, shaken. And then these curtains draw the rain back down away from where it would fall, which would be from above. And so I'm seeing that happen here. I've got time-lapse going on. Should be able to integrate that into tonight's movie. Nonetheless, radar has had these showers about 15 miles west persistently for the last upwards of 2 hours. They just have not progressed inland. And so we're seeing some disturbance coming from the east behind me that is keeping this cloud diffuse and from coming together and from advancing the rain in this direction. Once we get to the mountains, we're still seeing it, the clouds without definition. It looks like a dark gray bank. We are getting some cumulus developing, and that's welcome. So we'll see what happens. See whether we get a little water, or if it, like yesterday, is just a bit of all rumble and no roll. All right, back in a bit. All right, just coming in from outside, and I am about right here, right at the tip of that finger. And so all of that gray diffuse area is this little extension of this thunderhead that keeps pulsing. Notice that the thunderstorm really isn't moving all that much, but yet the clouds are kind of rolling out. And storms should enhance, they should grow, they should develop along the windward side of a mountain range. And that just isn't happening. And that's kind of, for me, it's a sign of some kind of manipulation that's been going on across so many aspects of our weather. All right, I'm going to pop out and look at the water vapor imagery. We'll animate it. And we're seeing trailing up in here off the coast of BC and the leading edge of this storm. This is still a location where you'd see typical contrails because the environment is highly conductive for it, but we're seeing them, look at them crossing right in through here. See those lines showing up? Boom, boom, boom. Not as intense as we had seen with some other locations, but they are there nonetheless. Some showing up in this little moisture pocket off the coast of California. And here's the low I'm paying attention to just now working into western Colorado. Back east, over the course of the day, it's been kind of quiet. We've got some clouds across Kansas. We're going to find all kinds of unusual texture. The holes, once again, but not quite as prominent as we've seen in days past. They're here across Missouri, boom, boom, and you can see all of these, what typically are called subsidence holes. But what is causing the subsidence? And if you watch the video with Boyd Bushman, in his words, he would describe these as anodes, where you see localized areas of high pressure. These little holes, and then a corresponding anode would need a node, and that would be an area where you have lifting air or upward moving air, a node, and so that would be a low pressure. And so you can see some of the wave action in the clouds across Ohio. Again, some of these nodes and anodes, and then the waves ever present as we move more so into the northern regions. So you get some incredible pictures showing up out of Scandinavia, Northern Europe, New Zealand, those higher marine atmosphere locations where there's a lot of moisture in the air, so you get the condensation. When the waves show up, you get the condensation happening in productive, I should say, conducive environments for wave action. Let's go to the GFS, and let me see where we are. That's 12 was yesterday. Let's do a quick update. We'll see the low. Little chunk of energy that went through last night got us about 1/10 of an inch of rain. None of the low rotating as we saw in the water vapor imagery rolling through Utah. Still cold air over eastern Canada. And then we're hoping for some rain into California, but it's a little bit early in the season for that to happen. But the Pacific is going to get more active. This low is deep. We're at about 510 millibars, if not a bit lower. So that means halfway up the atmosphere, you're at 5,100 meters. And about a little less than 18,000 feet, well less than 18,000 feet. And then this jet stream is going to remain likely locked north as we move through 4 days out, 5 days out, and even as we head out 7 days. We may see a little extension, a little low swing through, kick off some thunderstorms across the southeast. This would be Sunday night, Monday. And then a low sitting off the coast of California. That's a little unusual with this high kind of folded in across the northern Rockies, keeping that Canadian jet stream potent, compressed, and scooting along southern Canada. It is a bit of a change from the highly longitudinal flow that we've had lately. This is definitely a pattern change, and it should bring some moderation temperature-wise to the east, and the west is going to continue kind of high and dry. All right, we'll take a look outside in a while. Dog's watching the deer in here. Coming down out of the mountain. It's just that time of year. Come down to eat. Well, we got a little snow. A little rain down here. It almost looked like it was going to do a little snow shower, but that looks like that snow level's right about 10,000 feet. Maybe 11. Maybe closer to 11. We're still 42 degrees here now and have a few drops coming out of the sky, but the storm, well, there's no more than 600ths in the rain gauge, so not all that much at all. Planes were persistent through the whole event, of course, and now we can see the backside of the storm. This whole thing is kind of stretching out, and so the southern end is swinging through here, and will likely extend to our east, putting us on the backside of the event, which means we'll probably clear out tonight. You know, frost is certainly on the table. There's lots of moisture in the air, and that may be the one thing that holds us back. Hi, dear. But again, a little more snow up high. Really like to have had 3/4 of an inch out of this, and that's what the models had anticipated. That's certainly what the storm had the potential to deliver. But you know, the Earth cannot give us the weather she would like to, you know, because she's kind of stuck to doing the bidding of these bastards. So until we can be free of the power structure of this planet, our weather's going to be impacted by it. In any case, if we get some cool sunset action, I'll come back out and I'll get another check-in on the satellite. Otherwise, today's is going to be kind of a shorty. I'll make sure to get the time-lapse integrated in, because the storm that hung out to the west from about 1 to 4 o'clock was pretty cool. It looked pretty cool, and should be pretty cool on time-lapse. Be well. I no sooner stop the record button and then this shows up. Can you hear it? He's descending in altitude, coming in from the southeast. He's now past my overhead position. And there's absolutely no reason for him to be descending heading towards the northwest. There's no airports of any size to be able to handle this size of jet. At the wind of the west, the rain's winding down. See, everything's wet, and about 600ths was total. You can see on these clouds just how they've lost their definition. They've lost their definition. The tops are fuzzy. They've utterly lost their definition. This is a sign some destructive energy has been introduced above and beyond what typical meteorology calls icing out. This is something else. It becomes very localized, and it happens after the planes fly through. Arcing through here, but otherwise it's kind of just blah. And we'll look at satellite here in a bit, but there's probably not a whole lot else going on out here today. Planes are still flying. They're still coming on through. So they're not ready to give up the ghost just yet with this storm. All right. The jets are still going. We're at sunset, and the storm's pulled off to the east. You can hear one to the southeast. There's another one coming in there. There's another one up here. Just a short trail. Kids over playing hide and seek. These little guys are just as much chemtrail as the other. The technology demonstrated to do this is small, size of a Volkswagen or less, so you don't need a big jet. Look at this cube. Straight line, square off. Holes, more striations, and they're dead. But we're just almost at sunset now. And yeah, we are at that golden hour of the day. We'll probably cloud up a little later on tonight, but again, like I said earlier, frost is going to be very, very possible. And there's sunset. Thanks for watching, everybody. Keep looking up. Here's one of these guys. Been constant step since I stepped outside about 20 minutes ago. And this is really the first one I've seen, except for that little tiny one of the that I showed you the contrail with. This is the first one I've seen. So they're out there, low and slow, and cruising through the heart of this low pressure system.